So you've gotten together with the IEP team to consider whether or not this new set of circumstances as a result of being hospitalized is going to have what we are going to talk about being the most important thing to consider, and that is an adverse impact on your child's education. And Jen, before I send it over to you, I want to remind you, education is more than academics. It's not just grades and academic achievements.
Right.
It's how you're functioning and performing on all sorts of other levels.
Right, those functional and adaptive skills. This is in probably no other area of disability do I see this argument come up more often than in the area of an emotional disability. It comes up in other areas too, but I really have this battle when we're dealing with kids with emotional disabilities. And I can speculate that the reason is that often the academics are intact, or at least relatively intact, but it is those other skills, those other needs that are really where the kid is falling apart and where they really need the specialized instruction. The legal standard for whether a child requires special education services is if they meet all of those criteria of the emotional disturbance, does it adversely impact the education, and does that child require specialized instruction in order to have an appropriate program? That's really the upshot of it. It's more complicated than that, but that's the upshot. When answering that question, the temptation and certainly the inclination for school districts is to answer that question with regard specifically just to academics. And when you're sitting as a parent, you need to make sure that you're not just answering that question with regard to academics. So an example I give a lot is I have a lot of kids who've been psychiatrically hospitalized that I've represented who've missed months of school because of the hospitalizations, or they've missed months in the prelude to and the aftermath of the hospitalization, and they're out of school all the time. Even if they're getting some instruction at home from the school district, we're talking about sometimes, 100 days out of a school year that they've missed because of this emotional disability. And then I go to the IEP meetings with families if the school is resisting the services, and I'm saying, well, obviously this adversely impacts this child's education. And the answer I'm getting is, well, when she's here, she's a really good student. When she's available for learning, she really does well. When he takes tests, he's really, really well. I always say, well, other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how'd you like the play? It's kind of important to be there more than 50 days in a school year. And so obviously that's adversely impacting the child's education, but it's not so easy to answer the question. And so that's where you want to have good, thorough evaluations.
Absolutely.